You have to learn.
Oh,
Start a video. Let's see, am I in your connection?
yes. All right. Good night, everyone. Welcome to Facebook Live and Instagram Live. Tonight we will be discussing your vagina, sex, and exercise. So I am Renee, Crichlow of REAC Fitness. I'm a women's fitness specialist. And what I do, I help women to become a better version of themselves through mindset, nutrition, and exercise. I work with the prenatal population, postnatal population, women of childbearing age, and also menopause. So over to you, Katrina.
Hi, everyone. I'm Katrina. I am a sensual empowerment coach. I work with both men and women, specializing in orgasmic healing and empowerment for women and couples. And orgasmic intelligence is my system, which teaches you how to use your six senses and your sexual energy to heal and empower yourself.
All right. So before we get into all the juicy discussion, you need to know about the anatomy of your pelvic floor area, and what we call the vagina. That is just really the vaginal opening, so to speak. So in terms of your pelvic area, there are three areas that you have to consider. Once these three areas are in alignment, then your pelvic floor muscles will function properly. So you have the hip bone, you have the pubic bone, and you also have the sits bone. Once all of these are in alignment, then your pelvic floor muscles are going to function well. So in terms of your pelvic floor muscles, you have three layers. So the first layer is your sexual layer. So when you peel away the skin, so to speak, just bringing it a little close. So this is your first layer. So this will have the vaginal opening, which we call the vagina. It will have your lips, which will be the labia minora and majora. And you also have the anus, you have the perineal body, and all of that together is called the perineum. So then there is the second layer, which is the sphincteric layer, which really controls your urethra in terms of opening to release urine and closing to hold urine. And then you have the third layer, which will be these muscles here. Those are also responsible for sexual related things. So in terms of the functions of the pelvic floor muscles, they are supportive because they have to support your inner organs. So that's your abdominal region, everything that is in there. So that will be your colon, your small intestine, your stomach, your liver, your heart, your lungs, everything that is above your pelvic region. So everything above there, that is what your pelvic floor muscles do. They are supportive. Sphincteric, which I spoke about before, that is where you will be able to control your urine or your feces, fecal matter, right? Then you have, obviously, sexual, which are responsible for you getting better orgasms and all of that stuff Katrina will talk about. And then we have one more layer. I spoke about supportive, sphincteric, sexual, and stabilization. Your pelvic floor muscles and also the pelvis will be stabilizing a whole set of things. And the issue is that most of us will have some form of pelvic floor dysfunction, and it's really due to a lot of our daily activities. Yeah, like sitting down too much. That is one of the biggest things. So what I will do is then let Katrina talk to you a bit about sex and the pelvic floor muscles.
Before we step into that there, I just wanted to speak about my osteopath. She does a practice called bowstring, and she taught me when I had an issue with my lower back. She actually said that the way dance instructors and a lot of practitioners are teaching us to stand, particularly in like dancing, and if you're doing exercises and stuff like that, you know how we were told to push, to
till
end. She's saying that's actually counterproductive to how we naturally are formed. So that for me was quite an eye opener, because from the time I was not born. From a very little girl, I danced in. All my dance instructors said, tuck in, tuck in, tuck
and
in.
That is correct, because as you mentioned, when you're standing and you're tucking on the hair, that is a form of dysfunction. And also, the thing that we may just call a cock boxy, where you're actually too much in this anterior tilting, that can also cause pelvic floor dysfunction. And what we're doing right now, again, sitting, too much sitting. And most people sit and slouch and curl over like this. And that is also tucking as well. So posture is a big thing. Just before we go into that, and other things that cause dysfunction, pregnancy, also how we stand, and then we wear a lot of heels every day. Yeah, we know we want to look sexy and cute and things like that. I'm guilty of that. But the heels put our body in a different alignment, and that can affect our pelvic floor muscles. So, onto you, Katrina.
Yes, definitely. And the way pelvic floor muscles, if they're too tight, they're too taut, that can actually diminish your orgasmic potential. What's your orgasmic potential? Many women complain, many women, and these are even clients that I have spoken with, but studies have shown that many women have indicated that they are unable to experience an orgasm. That's a vaginal orgasm. And studies have shown that not only are women not relaxed here, but there's also some kind of dysfunction in the pelvic area, maybe too tight. So Kegels, you hear a lot about Kegels. Squeeze, and squeezing is actually not good for the pelvic floor muscles, and actually helps to diminish your orgasmic potential as well. So Kegels, actually, when the gentleman that the Kegels is named after, he did not intend for us to be doing Kegels the way we're doing them. So the way women are doing this Kegels all the time, they're putting themselves into something called pelvic shock. And I've actually had one or two clients who, well, I would say one or two customers who did not choose to take on to seek a professional assistance as a sensual empowerment coach. And so they just bought the egg and did all the work on it by themselves. And so they said that, they found that they're really tight. And I said, because you're overdoing. So the whole point is that you want to stretch the pelvic floor muscles as well with hip opening exercises. So it's a balance. It's all about a harmonious balance. And you can do extreme and hurt yourself. And that's what I am definitely trying to avoid with women who choose to use yoni eggs, or who just choose to do the Kegels extremely, and to the extreme, pretty much.
Right. So, anything else you want to talk about in terms of sex, orgasms, issues?
Right. Well, well, gosh, I could talk a lot about, but specifically, speaking specifically about the
pelvic floor muscles. If having regular sex will help to improve them. If you're going on a drought, if that's going to cause some sort of issues, anything like that.
No, actually, yeah, a lot of people would say that a woman who is sexually active or has multiple partners or something like that it actually helps to make her vagina loose. That's crazy. That's not true at all. Vaginal canal is a beast, and I mean that in a good way. She snaps back naturally, but it is a muscle. So muscle, naturally, if you do not work the muscle, atrophy can step in. So then that's where you may have where the muscles become not as flexible. They don't bounce back as quickly, and so they're like a loose rubber band. So that will in some cases not cause issues during sexual intercourse, but is not the optimum health for your vaginal canal. But there was another point I wanted to make, and it slipped my mind right now. So we could speak about. You can speak, and then it might come back.
Ask you a question. So, do you advise women to have sex?
If I advise women,
Yeah, I know you can say yes, but for all those out there that are saying, "Oh, I deciding that I'm going to be celibate and I'm going to put myself on a 10-year hiatus from sex,"
no,
is that good for the pelvic floor muscles?
well, let
Or is there
me
something else that they can do?
right. I am an advocate of, if you within you are told, okay, I need to take a break from sexual intercourse. It may not be, for some women it's a turn off from sex, and then that's something that they would need to seek some kind of coaching or therapy for.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's some women who have recognized, and I also went through this for a 2-year period. I was celibate, but I was orgasmically celibate. There's a difference. So I abstained from sexual intercourse, but I did not abstain from sexual pleasure. There's a difference. There is a difference. So if it's a personal journey where you think you need to renew, you need to go within yourself to find a balance, to seek a truth, by all means. But I would encourage you at no time to suppress your sexual energy. That's counterproductive.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be able to cultivate it through solo cultivation or masturbation, or you can seek Renee and let her help you with some exercises that would keep down their night. Exactly. Or you can come to me and I can also show you some techniques which will make sure that you keep down there healthy, your vaginal canal healthy, so that when you're ready to use it again, that you're not like,
So one of the things that I would have come across in terms of dysfunction, that some things, as you said, women need help. And I think a lot of us kind of shy away from getting that help, because there might be a woman that wants to have orgasms and stuff like that, but she is constantly in pain. So again, is to get that help. And just to talk about that a little bit, since we are talking about sex, there are a whole set of nerves that run along the sacrum, and they go and run along all of the areas in the vagina. So in terms of your orgasm and stuff like that, talking to somebody like Katrina can help you with that. And even if you, because I know sometimes there might be this blockage that solo cultivation is bad or masturbation is bad. But if you look at it in a way that it is actually something healthy for your pelvic floor muscles, and as you said, it is a powerhouse for things. Just explain on that a little bit, if you can.
Oh, you mean as far as
the pelvic region, the pelvic area?
Because as women, we tend to hold a lot of negative energy in our pelvic area, whether it's a traumatic situation, abusive relationship, a lost pregnancy or unwanted pregnancy, or just some situation. We tend to hold all of that energy in our womb spaces. And then, unfortunately, it may manifest itself as fibroids, endometriosis, PCOS, a whole host of female diseases in the pelvic area that I find more and more women, younger and younger clients I'm getting, are being diagnosed with this. So this is your power source. This is from where all life springs. And I'm not just speaking about children, but I'm speaking about birthing your ideas, where your ideas are incubated before they come to the fullness and manifested. So it's very important to cultivate that area, keep it healthy, keep it nice and supple, and dance. And dance, definitely dance. I have the Yoni Power Hour, which is a sensual moving class. That's one of the things. But we also teach you how to do it in our workshops as well, too.
Okay. So what I'm going to be talking about now is exercise. And we all want to keep our bodies looking fit and trim. But if you have any form of pelvic floor dysfunction, certain exercises are not recommended. So, and do not think that pelvic floor dysfunction is limited to women that had children. I will share something personally with you. There were a couple of years ago, when I would be dancing or if I were running or anything, I realized I had a little bit of leakage. And I don't have any children, but I do have a history of exercising from the time I was probably, well, I was physically active from primary school. I started lifting weights probably around when I was 14, 15. And also with my running, I know that my legs were not coming up. So that was an indication that there was some sort of tightness going on. And the focus on flexibility and mobility, that was not really heavily emphasized. So years and years of lifting heavy weights, and that is one of the things that happen. So, for example, if you have tightness or lack of mobility in your ankle region, and that can affect your knees and also affect your hips. And there are a lot of insertion points for muscles in your hip region. And as I stated before, if your your bones in your pelvis are not properly aligned, then you will get some sort of dysfunction. So, for example, my thighs are extremely tight. My hamstrings are tight. So you can imagine that if these are tight, your pelvis, which is supposed to be in this position, if you have tight thighs, it's going to pull and your pelvis is going to go like this. Tight hamstrings, your pelvis is going to pull and go like this. So for me, that is like a little tug of war going on because it is pulling this way, this way, this way, this way. So obviously I had dysfunction, but there are certain things that I had to do. And the easiest exercise to describe in terms of how it can cause problems or how it can't cause problems would be the squat. There are exercises that are there and they're good for you, but it is how they are executed. So there's this thing called the Valsalva maneuver, which is basically holding your breath on exertion of an exercise. And with that, you have a lot of pressure building up in your abdominal region. And that pressure has to go somewhere. So most of the time, it's not going to go up towards your diaphragm, which is under your rib cage. It's going to go down towards your pelvic floor muscles. And it is not like it is a closed lid. You still have an opening. So that pressure building up, that can cause women to have things like bladder prolapse, vaginal prolapse, uterus prolapse. So you must be mindful in terms of the exercise. So if you know that you are doing an exercise and you're feeling a little bit of leakage, and some of the culprits for that will be a lot of running, doing jumping jacks, anything that is jumping related. If you feel a little bit of leakage, do not ignore it. Fix it before it gets worse. Talk to whoever your trainer. If you don't feel comfortable, there are female physical therapists that you can go to, that you can talk to about that. And you can talk to your trainer. Just tell them that right now I cannot do these exercises. If that person is barking at you and telling you, no, you got to do the exercises, no. Find somebody else. Find somebody else. Definitely. Because those exercises, as I said, they might be good for some people that have perfect functioning pelvic floor muscles. But if you have any sort of dysfunction, any sort of pain, don't do them.
So then, Renee, would you recommend that any woman or any person seeking to start an exercise program, should they go and visit a physiotherapist to test to see, make sure that the pelvic muscles they don't have, or if the type of dysfunction they may have, if the pelvic floor is too tight, if it's hypo or hyper.
So there are certain, if you feel comfortable on that level, you can go to a physiotherapist because they might do an internal examination. But if you go to somebody that has a general idea, or even on a screening form, if they ask certain questions, don't shy away from the questions. Answer them the best way that you can. And one of the other exercises that I find, well, before I go into that, the thing that also helps with your pelvic floor muscle is your breathing mechanics. And most of us breathe chest. So when we inhale, our tummy goes out. When we exhale, when we inhale, our tummy goes in. So a lot of us women are rocking around with tummy sucking. It is like
sucking your belly.
Exactly. It is the worst thing to do. So you're supposed to, when you inhale, you're supposed to let your tummy inflate like a balloon. And when you exhale, you're supposed to let it go in. And that breathing mechanic, that activates the diaphragm, which activates your TVA. So these are muscles that run like this under the six-pack muscles, which are very important. And then they activate the pelvic floor muscles, then activate the muscles in your back. So when you are doing exercises, always think about your breathing, because a wrong type of breathing can cause a lot of pressure on your pelvic floor muscles. And that is one thing that you're trying to get around.
So tell me, I need to know this because I do my own home workouts. I use weights. So when do I inhale? Okay, let me tell you when I inhale. Like if I'm doing a squat, let's see, I squat. I inhale going down and I exhale coming up. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. And there's also another thing that you can do, which is called the pelvic brace. So when you go down, you're thinking that your vagina is kind of open, so to speak. So when you're coming back, when you exhale, think about squeezing that together, like if you're closing that opening. So that will reduce some of the pressure that is going down on your pelvic floor muscles. So anything on any exertion of an exercise, naturally we should be exhaling on exertion, but I find some people just hold their breath. Like, let me go down this exercise, let me come back up, and then let me do
it. Yeah, so, that is true.
So that's the thing about exercise. Make sure you choose exercises that are specific for you. And remember, women, you are different from men. And also consider that close to your period, that things are going to get a little bit loose. And again, that is going to affect the position of your pelvis. So you do not have to be going like a beast up to your period time, because that is not recommended. Slow it down.
Right down.
You want to think about your pelvic floor muscles to make sure that they are strong, but yet supple. So that's one of the things that we are going to talk about in terms. We're going to go a little bit into Kegels and Kegels, however you want to pronounce it. And it is not for everybody.
Yes.
It is not for everybody.
Tell me, how, okay, I want you to speak about the hyper and the hypo, and then I'm going to ask my question.
Right. So, as you know, everybody is on the quest to having a tight vagina. Because I think if it tight, don't believe the hype. It can grip that good, but, and then women go and do all of these Kegels, and they do not know if it is hypotonic, meaning that it needs strengthening, or if it is hypertonic, meaning that it is too tight. If it is too tight, no Kegels. You will do something called reverse Kegels, where you learn to let go. Because we as humans, we tend to hold. We always holding. So again, you will have to get evaluated for that. There are different ways that could be done. But just don't go saying, oh, I want a tight vagina, so I'm going to do Kegels. And going 2 or 3 reps, 3 sets of 25 reps, just going squeeze.
And don't go walking about with surfboards hanging from your crotch.
Because we are not training for an Olympic lift or anything like that. It still have to be supple.
Exactly. That's very important.
Very important.
That rippleness, that's what gives you the sensualness and allows your orgasms to last and last and last.
Right. So the question you wanted to ask me. Okay.
Right. I'm sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, I am getting very forgetful. And so I've forgotten the question. So I wanted to ask, so as far as women, not, let me move on from that. I'll come back to your question. But there's some women who come to me who actually have a prolapsed uterus, and they want to use the yoni egg. I do not recommend using the yoni egg with a prolapsed uterus. One, there could be great discomfort. And the fact that, you understand, the prolapsed uterus, your uterus is actually hanging into the vaginal canal. How you will know if you have prolapsed uterus, if you're sitting and you feel as though you're sitting on a ball there is discomfort during sex. You may have spotting as well. I do not recommend use of yoni eggs. Well, it all depends on how severe, how low you're hanging, and generally that could be determined by your gynecologist. Somebody's laughing. Why are those laughy things going laughy, smelly?
Because probably people do not know about these things. And one of the things, as I said, we think about doing Kegels because you want to get back your vagina tight, or women after pregnancy, their thing is, I just want to get this back tight. So I doing Kegels, I going looking online and seeing that, all right, this is a program that I could do just to tighten. But with pelvic floor health, they also have to consider your hydration, because if you're not hydrated, there's this thing called fascia. For those of you who cut up chicken, there's like this clear, slimy casing. I know you don't eat chicken, but for some people that know, there's this casing over muscle. And if you don't drink enough water, that can get dehydrated. And if it is dehydrated, it is going to be like squeezing the muscle, the life out of the muscle, and just has it dry like a raisin. So you know when you have a grape, it is nice and soft and supple. When it is a raisin, it's dry. And sometimes raisins are dry and hard. So pelvic floor muscles need that as well.
Succulents. We're all about succulents.
Water, your diet as well. That is very, very, very important. So if you find that you have discomfort in your pelvic floor region, then you gotta look at your diet. Because if you're eating crap, your muscles will respond exactly to what you are doing. Yes.
Very true. But I wanted you to also expand on the fact that when we speak about vagina, it's the entire
pelvic area. All of this is your vagina.
So don't think you can work with one and not the other.
Everything in your body is connected. So again, with the Kegels, just thinking that you're going to be isolating here. If you have, again, as I said, if you have any tight ankles, if your knees aren't that flat, your knee joints aren't really moving that well, your thighs are tight, your hamstrings, which is the muscle behind your leg, if that is tight, if your buttocks is tight or slack, anything like that, that is going to affect what is happening up in here. So there's nothing wrong with stretching, but you also have to know how to stretch, because whatever you do, again, affects here. You're sitting, like what we're doing right now, affects
only for
here.
27 minutes.
So one of the things that you can do is to get up. When you at work, get up and move around.
I'll walk up in the chair. Some nice slow wine in the chair.
You have to be mobile, and we as Bajans, I know other people are listening, you can walk up. Walking up is good.
It's your culture.
Yeah, it's your culture.
But it also helps with that sensual movement as well, to help to cultivate the pelvic floor area, the pelvic area, the vaginal area, and that circle motion is actually very life-giving.
Right. So now, one of the other things that we are going to touch on, which may be a little bit touchy for some women, is waist trainers. Yes. we are in a world of quick fixes. We are living a microwave life. Want everything fixed and going a certain way. So we're after that quote bottle shape. So that is where waist trainers have come in. Put them on. Some people might exercise in them. Some people might just wear them for an extended period of time, and then the waist might start to change. However, I do not recommend using them, because, as I would have stated before, in terms of intra-abdominal pressure, that pressure has to go somewhere. And the pressure most likely is not going to go up on the rib cage, it's going to go down. So if you are using a waist trainer, and I will be blunt and I will be real with you, It's up to you if you want to discontinue using it, but just know that that can contribute to pelvic floor dysfunction. So if when you get 60, 70 and you realize that you have to wear the adult diapers because you cannot hold your urine or hold your fecal matter, it could be because of things that you were doing before. And wearing waist trainers is one of them. So are you being real?
And even the quick fixes, speaking of the quick fixes and this fascination, this fixation with tight vaginas, tight pussies, women are actually opting to get surgical adjustment done. And it's causing issues. Before we came on camera, Renee was speaking about women in
Australia
who are coming out
and talking about the vaginal transmesh that they had inserted. Some of them talking about the different surgeries that they had, and it is causing a lot more pain than it was before.
Yeah, so we're trying to get away from the quick fixes.
Yes.
Yeah, we know that you want results quickly, but bear in mind that sometimes getting results quickly can actually cause more harm than good.
Right, because we have this short tunnel vision and not thinking about everything else that is going to happen later down. You don't think about, probably later down I might have to be wearing diapers. And when you get older, that is not set in stone that should be happening. You do not have to go down that path. But it's everything that you do now that will have ripple effects later on. So if you do have to, in some instances, you may have to have the surgery if you have a uterus prolapse. If it's very bad, as Katrina said, it will be in the vaginal canal, but some women, it actually comes right out of the vaginal canal. So so they would need a surgery.
Intervention is necessary.
But you get in nix and tucks so that it will be tighter, so that your vagina is going to look pretty. Just think about what is going to happen later on. Because having a pretty vagina will not stop you from having pelvic floor dysfunction. Will not stop you from having to wear the maxi pads to hold your urine because you can no longer control it.
And it depends.
And yes, and it depends. You do not want to be wearing the pens because what's the point? What's the point of having a surgery to look pretty but still not cover it up with a big ugly diaper? So if it is that you want the quick fix, it's not making it for anybody, but that is the reality. We want to look good. That is the thing. Looking good at all costs, not thinking about what is going to happen in the future. So again,
take your time.
Yes,
do it right.
Take your time and do it right. Find people that can help you. If you know that you have a problem, find people that you feel comfortable with. And also invest in yourself. The same way that a lot of people will pay to get their car service and clean and all of that stuff. Mind you, I don't really get paid to get mine clean because it's a car. But I do get it serviced. But the same thing happens with your pelvic floor muscle area. Get it serviced and not service and service. But that is something that you have to take care of.
And can I switch then to pregnancy?
Yes. Yeah? Pregnancy.
I'm a mother of 4. I had 3 vaginal births and 1 C-section. And I found that I became incontinent, meaning that if I laughed or sneezed or needed to urinate, a little drip would come out. I was unable to hold my urine. And once I started to do this personal work, and in training toward becoming an essential empowerment coach, use of yoni eggs as well helped a lot too, but also the pelvic, understanding how the pelvic area works and the importance of not overworking it and working it to the point to heal as opposed to harm helped me a lot.
Yeah, and know that you mentioned pregnancy and C-section. In terms of exercise, a lot of women still shy away from exercise, or doctors tell them to walk. You are going to have some dysfunction in your abdominal region. And as we mentioned before, your abdominal, everything is connected. So what is happening in your abdominal region, your abs, is going to affect your pelvic floor muscles. So with pregnancy, you're going to have some stretching. Some people might get diastasis recti. That is like a separation, and it goes a little deeper than just a separation. But having that can lead to, well, it is part of pelvic floor dysfunction. So one thing that I would recommend women when they have a C-section, after they have a child or what's not, 6 weeks when you go for your checkup and the doctor says, yeah, you're good, everything is good. You're not good. You took 9 months to make a child, so in 6 weeks your body cannot heal. And please, for the love of God or whoever, do not go back into a rigorous exercise program, because you will damage yourself. You will end up with worse pelvic floor dysfunction than before. And that in itself can wreak havoc on different things. That's going to ripple, because it can affect relationships. If you have pelvic floor dysfunction, you might not feel comfortable to be with somebody. And you will withdraw, and it has all these different effects. So stay away from doing planks, because if you have the diastasis recti, if you are in the plank position, gravity is going to pull down. Stay away from crunches, sit-ups. Please do not do them. I know you want to get back your stomach flat or what's not, but take care of that separation first and then focus on aesthetics.
Explain to them why not to do the sit-ups, so we can understand with the planking, the gravity is pulling down, but with the sit-ups.
Sit-ups, that is like you pushing forward everything. So there's this right side, there's a lot of dorming, but I don't have it. But usually,
I did have it at one point.
Right
here, I had a huge space here.
So imagine you have a huge space there, and you have all of your internal organs. When you do sit-ups, they still have to push forward.
Hernia? Can you get a hernia?
Yeah, you can get all different things. When you push forward, everything is pushing forward. When you crunch, you also have the pressure pushing down on your pelvic floor muscles as well. So yeah. So what we're going to do right now is for those of you who are asking questions, we will go through. I just have to come a little closer because I cannot see. So what about those who stand? All right, let us see. I learned that breathing technique when I started yoga. Yes, Nisha. Renee, you can't rehydrate a raisin. Yeah, technically you can. If you put it in water, you might be able to. So you have Crystal. What about those who stand constantly? No, standing, yes, you can stand, but if you're standing constantly in terms of your job, you have to think about your alignment as well. So if you are standing in a job and you're standing up like this most of the time, you are going to have some problems. Also, in terms of standing, we are accustomed to standing. We are supposed to be moving as humans were before. But in terms as you said, as you're asking in terms of the constant standing, that can have some adverse effects, especially if you also have hypermobility in any of your joints. That can affect your pelvic floor muscle. So sometimes you need to get off of your feet, because some people could have a lot of drainage and swelling, which can cause different issues. In terms of standing too much, it might not be as severe as sitting too much, because you're actually in extension. So these muscles are elongated. They're not tight and cramped up like this most of the day. But as I said, if you're standing too much, try to sit down or try to relax yourself a little bit and then stand again.
With harmonious balance.
Yeah, it's a balance. Balance it out. One extreme is standing too much, the other extreme is sitting too much. Find something in between.
All right, I had a question here. I don't know. I'm sorry, I was reading while you were. But it says, how do you know if you have pelvic floor dysfunction?
There are certain things that you can pick up on your own. So, for example, if you laugh When you laugh, you get a little bit of leakage. If you sneeze, you get a little bit of leakage. If you had a child, you will have pelvic floor dysfunction, especially if you did not exercise during pregnancy. If you had an episiotomy, which is the cut that they give you right here, the space between your vaginal opening and your anus. If you got that cut there, you will have some sort of pelvic floor dysfunction. If you are having pain anywhere in your vaginal region where you will call the lips, if you're having any pain, any tingling, numbness, if you can't have an orgasm and it's not because your partner is not pleasing you, if it's just not happening, that can be dysfunction. If you are constantly having back pains is not only related to you just sitting for a long time, but it can be due to some of the nerves, because you have a lot of nerves that run to the vagina. If any of those are pinched whatsoever, you will have some sort of dysfunction. So it will be to find out if any of these things are happening, any of these symptoms that you are getting. If you're just getting a lot of tightness or you're feeling a lot of heaviness in that area, yes, sometimes close to your period, you might have a bit of heaviness, but if it's like that constantly, then that can be also a form of dysfunction. But what you would need to do is to probably go to a female pelvic floor therapist, or you can just do a quick evaluation with either myself or Katrina, and we'll be able to tell you if you have some sort of dysfunction going on.
They actually have, in some parts of the UK, women are required after pregnancy, after birth, giving birth, to go to a chiropractor to get realigned.
Yeah.
So that's how seriously they take it in other parts of the world.
And that should be part of the after baby care.
It should be. Definitely.
Another question. Just looking through to see what else we have here. Yes, right. Rochelle, a C-section is a major surgery.
The only reason why doctors don't refer to it as a major surgery is because they do it so often. So for them, it's like, oh, this is a piece of cake. We have years of experience doing this, but it is major surgery. So ladies, understand, don't take it lightly at all. It is major surgery as well as a hysterectomy.
Yeah, so again, major surgery, so 6 weeks after, you are not healed. And listen to your body. Really sit down and listen to your body. So if you are doing a sort of exercise and you are feeling some sort of discomfort, listen to your body. But do not be thinking like, no pain, no gain. Do not. I don't subscribe to that. Listen to your body. You have a voice. Speak. If something is not sitting with you, talk about it.
And you will know. You will know if it's a pain. Like after I work out, I haven't worked out for a while, and I started workout a day afterwards. I feel my muscles. Now that's a I would say that's a sweet pain. And mind you, there's a thin line between pleasure and pain, but there is an excruciating pain that I experienced once when I was exercising, and it was in my lower back. That's when I actually had to go to chiropractor and the osteopath to get it sorted out. And I felt this pain. I was like, no, this is not right. And I've experienced strain in my lower back already doing exercises, but this was a pain, and that I had to take heed, and I listened. And a good thing that I did, because I had, it was my psoas muscle. Somehow I had gotten it too tight, the one on my left side, and it was pure pain. So listen to your bodies is very, very important.
Very important. So let's see if we have any other questions. What about during or just before pregnancy? So you should use Kegel to prepare for delivery. All right, so Kegel.
Yeah, you would have to. She would need to be evaluated.
Yeah, you will need to be evaluated, so you could say yes or no, because I can't just Tanisha, I just can't say yes you can do it or no you can't do it. You will need to have evaluated in terms of your history. And as we said before, Kegels alone will not be enough. There are other things in terms of your posture, in terms of your nutrition, in terms of your stress levels, what work you do, who you are being cared for during your pregnancy. So that is a big thing. Because the doctor might tell you one thing and somebody else might tell you something else. So if it is that you need extra information, that is where you'll be able to contact me and I'll be able to help you to determine what will be good for you. So people are like, geez, sorry. What?
Yeah, Renee's phone just went dead, so they have to switch.
Right. So let's see what else we have. All right, we don't have anything else. No more questions.
One question is, so what makes you two an expert? Well, I guess it means experts on this subject.
Well, I have been certified. I'm originally an American College of Sports Medicine therapist, and also I was certified to work with pregnant clients through dancing through pregnancy. I am also now working on a course called Pelvic Pain Release by a lady called Isa Herrera, and she has had over 10 years of experience. I also have done courses with Jenny Burrell. She has had tremendous experience. So I am in an area where I'm working with experts. So that is why I'm able to come and talk to you. Obviously, I will not know everything, Rodney, but I know a lot more than other people. And it is not so much as we are experts and we're spilling out things. It's also from experience and seeking out information. So it also was part of a self-healing journey as well. And learning, continuous education.
I'm also a certified Tantra instructor and a sensual empowerment coach. So my work with the pelvic area is more the sensual side, but along with the same course that Renee is doing, I'm also pursuing that as well too. So that's giving me the underpinning knowledge as far as to take the work even further.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Ronnie, so I hope that answers your question, Ronnie.
It does.
Ronnie, want to know if we're working with men as well? Renee definitely
I don't work with
men.
men.
You're not? You don't
Nope.
work with men?
I am a women's fitness specialist,
Okay.
so
She's a women's fitness
I
specialist.
focus mainly on women.
I soon to be working with men in the future, but not right now. I just work with my partner.
Anything else you need to ask, Rodney? Let's see.
I don't have any other questions here. No more questions.
Let's see. No more questions.
Yeah, no more questions. So,
All right. So we are going to wrap up. Hope that this has been something that you can take away from this.
Mhm.
Hope you were able to find information. If you need to contact either of us, again, I am Renee Crichlow of REAC Fitness. You can visit www.reacfitness.com. You can find me on Facebook under REAC Fitness and also at Instagram with @REAC Fitness. And my contact number is 242-2850.
and I'm Katrina Eiffel, Creatrix of Orgasmic Intelligence. The name of my company is Waves of Bliss. You can find us on the IG and Facebook, Orgasmic with a K, Orgasmic Intelligence. Also, the website is www.orgasmic.intelligence.com, and it can be reached at area code 246-696-GASM, which is 4276, or 266-9964, or if you are based in the U.S., I have a number 718-880-7290.
All right. So thank you, everyone, again. We will be back sometime soon.
Yes, we will.
And have a good night.
And please, if you have any questions, please put them in the comment box and we'll check back later. So thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
And remember, you are orgasmic naturally.
All right.
Bye-bye. See ya.